Hey, what's up, fam? How you guys doing? I hope you guys are enjoying New World right now as much as I am, because this game is freaking amazing. So I'm going to be coming at you guys today with my Greataxe Sword and Shield setup for New World. This is a bruiser type build, like you're tanky, you have high damage. The only thing you really lack is like high mobility. You have nice mobility, but it's not amazing mobility. So without further ado, let's first go over attributes, kind of how I have my spread going. So with this setup, you want to be able to have over 200 strength. Reason being is the first bubble gives you plus 5% damage light attacks. Okay, that's okay. Second bubble, 10% damage to melee weapon heavy attacks. Okay, a little extra damage. Third one, plus 50% stamina damage from melee weapons, light and heavy attacks. That's nice when people are blocking. But this fourth one is the important one, the key one that you need, which is why you need to get over 200 strength. What it does is it gives plus 10% damage on stunned, slowed, or wounded enemies. And our big main burst combo damage comes from the fact that we're going to stun them with our sword and shield and then deal big burst with our Greataxe. So then it'll get an extra 10% damage. And then dexterity, intelligence, focus, we're mainly focused on strength. We're not going to put any points into those. It'll just be a waste to put anything into that. Then you're going to come down to Constitution. Preferably, I would like to get Constitution up to 200, but right now I'm max level 60, but I'm not max power like gear score, so points may change. But as of right now, you want to at least get over 100 Constitution. I have up to 150 because I want to have that bulkiness of health, so preferably get over 150. But if you want to put more into strength, because you say you want to hit harder, you want to be a little less bruiser, at least get over 100 or get 100 on the dot. So basically what the first bubble does is all health consumables are 20% stronger. This will make your health potions and stuff heal you more. Your second one, this one's important. This increases your max health by 10% of your physical armor. Why this is so important and why you want to have high health is in your sword and shield there is an ability we use that heals off your max health. So we currently rock 10,000 max health in this setup, and the heal comes back for like 1.8 to 2k, somewhere in that range it is. And then for the third bubble, it's minus 10% the crit damage taken, which is nice because it just makes you tankier. When people hit you with crits, they don't hit as hard, etc. So that's the sheet spread. Now let's go over skills and like exactly what we're using. So like I said, the first weapon is Greataxe. This is your main damage, and this is what the tree is looking like. We are going to be using Reap. This is a pull slash ability, so when you have all the passives, the first ability is just a pull, but when you get all the passives in, the last add-on gives another spin at the end, so you're going to pull someone in and you're going to smack them in the face with another hit. Your next ability is going to be Charge. This is your dash, this is your mobility. This is also a good way to do 2 light attacks right into this ability, and essentially what it does is you cancel your second auto while the damage goes through, but then on top of it you get a third hit, which is really good for being able to do a lot of damage very quickly. But mainly you want to use this ability as either a chase or as a getaway when you're outnumbered. And then for the third ability is Execute. What this does is it's a super powerful overhead attack dealing 200% damage, and it deals 300% damage when foes are under 50% health. Essentially, like the name is, Execute, this is your Execute. This ability, when you use your stun and then you go into Execute when they're below 50% health, you are guaranteed to hit over like 1300 on a player, which is a lot of damage for PvP. And then passives being, we'll start off on the right side, Mauler, we're going to go Heavy Pull, and then you're going to go to Enduring Strike. Reason being, this gives grit to your heavy attacks, and what grit is it's an unstoppable. When you can't be slowed, you can't be staggered out of it, so your attack is guaranteed to go through. The only way they can stop you from using the attack is if they have a stun, like a hard CC. And then for the other passage, you're going to go into Greed, increases the damage for every light attack by 5%. You then want to go into Death's Embrace, giving your Greataxe another 10% armor pen when they're below 50% health. This stacks beautifully with Execute, giving it even more damage. Your next passive you want to get is Critical Gains. When you get a critical hit, you heal yourself for 10%. Just kind of helps with sustainability. Your next passive you want to get is Frustration. What this does is after someone is blocking and you attack them, you gain 15% damage. So 15% from this, you have 15% after 3 light attacks. Already from here, you have a 30% increased damage, which is amazing. Then you want to get Keen Edge, which increases your critical damage by 10%, which stacks with this passive where Greataxe attacks on foes under 30% health, crit 15% more often. So again, it kind of all goes back to this execute. When they're low on health, this execute is pretty much going to guaranteed crit, 10% more armor pen, insane amount of damage, easily hit over 1300 on all players. And then for the final, well, not the final passive, for the second to last passive, you're going to put into feed. Greataxe attacks against foes below 30% health, heal you for 10%, a little bit more sustainability, just like critical gains. And then this is the last passive. You want to get Bloodlust. This is an amazing perk. In order to get these at the bottom, you need to have 10 points up here in the top of the tree, and then you're allowed to unlock and put a point into this. But what Bloodlust does is when you have a target within 15 meters, you move 30% faster and deal 15% more damage. So imagine you have your 15% from frustration, 15% from your 3 light attacks, and you have another 15% from here. That's 45% more damage when you're attacking an opponent. It's a lot of damage, and it just works very well. So now that's your damage. This is the Greataxe is your main damage source with this setup. Now let's go over Sword and Shield. This is your tankiness, this is your CC, this is your debuffs. This is what keeps you in the fight and alive. So if, as you can see, I have the weapon all the way to level 20 out of 20, and basically you just max out the entire right tree. All the passes, I'm not going to go over all the passes in this tree, but they're all about defense, like this additional physical armor. A really key one is this one in the bottom. It's called Recuperation. All incoming healing and regeneration is increased by 10%. So when you are in a fight and you want to use a potion, you want to be on your Sword and Shield, because what it does is your health potion will deal 10% more. Your food will heal you for 10% more. It's just very good. So let's go over abilities. Your first ability is going to be Shield Rush. This is a little rush forward that you knock opponents back. It's pretty much a stagger. It's a soft CC almost, but it deals a decent amount of damage. But the important part about this ability is once you get the 2 add-ons, the first one on a successful hit, your opponent gains Weaken for 4 seconds, and what Weaken does is it reduces damage that the opponent does. And then on the second add-on, on a successful hit, all enemies within 5 meters of you are slowed by 30% for 4 seconds. So once you get both of these add-ons, essentially this one Shield Bash ability will put Weaken and a Slow on your opponent, which is a really nice debuff when you're fighting players. Then for the second ability, you are going to be using Shield Bash. This is your stun. This is your bread and butter to allow your execute to hit an opponent. And the add-ons are pretty forward. This one just increases the damage of it, and this one increases the stun by 1. And then for the last one, you have Defiant Stance. This is your tank. This is your burst heal. This ability is very good. So when you use it for 8 seconds, you reduce incoming base damage from attackers by 30%. On top of, in this tree, there's a passive where when you block and attack, you gain 10% fortify. So with that, when you block, that stacked with Defiant Stance, there's a 40% damage reduction. And then on top of it, as you put all these points into this tree, and then you get the last tree, this last tree is another 30% damage reduction. So in total, you have 70% damage reduction when you have Defiant Stance, block 1 attack, and when you're blocking with defensive formation. So you essentially are like a moving rock. You take no damage. And like I said, the other passes are just about tanking. Like these 2 reduce stamina when you're blocking, because you are going to want to block in this setup since you have the Sword and Shield. This one is about reducing magic damage, and this one is the increased physical. And this is an important one with the shield. When you block an attack, your abilities recharge 1% every ability or something you block. This one's a little extra damage, but the whole main point of this Sword and Shield is to get your CC, debuff the opponent, and get your health back and get your tankiness back when you're outnumbered. So now that those are the weapons, let's go to the fun stuff. Let's talk about gear, how I have my attribute points and how I got them to where they're at. Because as you can see, my strength is 218 and my constitution is 168. So to start things off, I am level 60, so I have access to the final tier list of Covenant gear, faction gear. I am in the Covenant. So I bought a full set of it. What it does is 12 strength, 8 constitution as the bonuses for every single piece. So as you see, boots 12 strength, 8 constitution, legs 12 strength, 8 constitution, gloves, chest, helmet, all the same. Their perks that they all come with are refreshing and resilient. What those 2 do is the one reduces max cooldowns by 2.5%. So having 5 pieces with that gives you 12.5% max cooldowns reduction, which is huge. You get to use your abilities faster. And then the second one is resilient. Critical hits deal 4.5% less damage to you. and again that is on 5 pieces. Every single piece has it, so that is 18%. You have 22.5% critical hit reduction, which is really good. Now these all have gem sockets, and so far obviously the game is still new, so people aren't like crazy maxed out. We don't have like the best gems in slot, but what I have found worked the best, I have blue tier gems in it. My first 3 pieces, my head, my chest, my gauntlets, they all have the Wilderness Ward. What this is it comes from a flawed diamond. When you do stone cutting, you can cut your diamonds and then you can make them so that you can put them in your armor. And what Wilderness Ward does is you have 1.5% physical and 0.5% elemental damage absorption. So you get a nice little bit of tankiness. So from the 3, you'll get 4.5% physical reduction and then 1.5 elemental reduction. And then as you can see, that's kind of like an unbalanced ratio. So then your legs and your boots, you are going to then be putting in the malachite crystal. What this does is 1.5% elemental absorption and a 0.5% physical damage absorption. So from these 2 pieces you get 3% elemental absorption and 1% physical absorption, and then all together they essentially balance each other out for a nice both physical and elemental. Now weapons, I do not have weapons with gems, but in the video previous where I was doing my PvP and the gameplay that you guys saw, I did have gems in those, and I'm going to talk about the gems that I use. So right now, the sword, you want to go full strength, and the Greataxe, you want to have full strength on it. That's what you want to get for your best rolls possible for this setup. And then you have your shield with strength, constitution. The shield, as long as the perks on it are strength and constitution, that's key. If you get like a one with strength, dexterity, you don't want that. If you get one with intelligence, constitution, you don't want that. You want strength and constitution. You can have just straight up strength, you can have straight up constitution, whatever, but just make sure it's strength or constitution. So now let's talk about the gems in our weapons. So both the sword and the Greataxe, when you get weapons that have gem sockets, just like my armor, the gem you want to put in is the Cut Brilliant Malachite. Obviously right now this is only a tier 4 gem. There are tier 5 gems, but like I said, the game's still new, people are still trying new stuff. People are maxed out on stone cutting and getting their resources, so this is what I have access to right now. But what it does is it gives plus 10% damage against targets with an active crowd control and status effect. So this is another 10% damage to your big execute hit from Greataxe, from the extra damage you do from your sword and shield when you shield bash, when you hit them with your the stun, when you hit them with the shield bash stun. So that's pretty much the setup, the gear, the attributes, the skills. Now let's go over a few little like combos that I like to use, and in the video you saw me dealing easily half of the player's health with these combos, and it's just because everything goes together so well. So you want to start off a fight, say there's an opponent in front of me, I was blocking, I was taking his damage, he used all of his abilities on me, now it's time for me to go offensive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off the fight with a shield bash, I'm going to smash into them, it's going to knock them back a little bit. If the player isn't as good, you can do a light attack before this, but what you want to do is you want to go shield bash, and then as soon as the shield bash is done, use your stun. That's going to stun them for 2.5 seconds. You're then going to swap weapons to your Greataxe, and you're going to use your big execute ability. That's that ability I was talking about that does 200% or 300% damage. That combo right there will easily get someone below 50% health. And then usually what happens is after the opponent gets hit like that, they're going to get pulled out of their stun, they're going to roll backwards. When they roll backwards, you're going to use your pull. You're going to grab them after their roll, force them into you, and then hit them again with that ability. Now they're most likely going to roll dodge again, and with the Greataxe it has very nice tracking when you use your light attack. When they roll dodge, you're going to light attack once, twice you're going to most likely track with their roll dodge backwards. So you're going to go 1, 2, and then straight into your dash and hit them really hard with it. And then by the time all this has happened, either they will be dead, they will be very weak, or it's basically only 2 options. Either they're going to be dead or they're going to be very weak. There's really no other option. There's no tanking that damage unless you're severely underleveled to the opponent. But again, you're going to go shield bash, stun, bar swap, 1 execute, you're going to pull them after their roll, smack, 2 light attacks, and then straight into the dash. And that's pretty much how it should go. And then the defensive posture ability right here. This is that tanky ability I'm talking about. Let's see if I can take some fall damage. It's not going to be a lot, obviously. So I took 788 fall damage. As you can see, the buff is down there. Once it runs out, nice big heal, back to full health. So overall, this is the setup that I've been using. I've been really enjoying it. I haven't used it in wars yet. I have a war tonight, and I am going to be trying that tonight. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know if you like this setup or whatnot. Let me know what's going on. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day, OFAM.